Today, finally, we start the finishing details on the Coda Restoration series. We have gone through a full paint correction on this, in-depth detailing, a headlight restoration, and now today in this video, we're gonna get the final polish done. We're gonna get this thing ceramic coated, and we're gonna finish up everything in the interior, hitting the glass, cleaning up the wheels and tires, and all the final last details to finally finish off Coda Restoration series here. So welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Let's jump into it. This project has been quite a fun one, but it's taken a heck of a lot longer than I ever anticipated it to. I was hoping to have the Coda done before the end of 2023 and have all of the videos uploaded, but my busy schedule and the Coda taking a little bit more time than I truly anticipated, and me kind of going a little bit crazier than I thought I was going to on it, has led this series to get just put on the back burner week after week. But today we are finally going to be finishing this vehicle. So of course, if you haven't watched the upcoming series that have already come out on the Coda Restoration here, we have done a full paint correction, going in depth, turning this paint back to essentially new. We also, of course, did the whole backstory on this vehicle, telling about how Kyle got a brand new Coda Electric with 50 miles on it nearly 12 years later. A truly awesome story. We've already also restored the headlights on this, so we are really in the finishing details now. And man, oh man, I gotta say, this thing looks night and day different. But today is going to be the day where we turn everything up to 11. So we're going to be going in depth doing the finishing polish here. This is going to get all of the compounding marks and little micro marring that we put in during the buffing stage. And then we're going to be doing a half and half ceramic coating. So this is going to be a long-term series on this vehicle where we're going to put one of my favorite coatings head to head against another company that sent out a ceramic coating for us to test. We're also going to be treating all the plastic areas like this, cleaning up the rubber, and really getting into the interior, doing final little details there. We've already had it mostly clean, but I think since it's been sitting a little while, we've been in and out of the vehicle. It's a little dirty, so we'll get that tidied up. All of the rest of the little finishing details will be all in this video. So let's get polishing. We're already washed, we're already clean, and let's get going on the Coda. So we knocked out a quick little test spot here on this portion of the hood. And I gotta say, pretty darn happy with the results here. So here's what we're talking about when we're actually polishing. So when we compound the vehicle, especially like areas over here that were quite rough, looked pretty darn similar to up here, we're leaving a lot of haze behind. And I hope this shows on camera how kind of grayed out and hazy this is versus how clear this is. Now the hood is probably the worst part of the areas that we compounded. Again, we're going to be either wrapping or repainting the roof. We'll kind of see what Kyle wants to do. But I wanted to bring you in a little bit closer and kind of drive this point home and show you what I'm talking about as far as haze. So if I zoom in here, this light source here, you can see all those little kind of spider webs around that light source. As I move the light around here, you can see how they go. That is all called DA haze. So that's from our compounding stage because we're using an abrasive to basically take layers off of the paint. Now, if we come over here, you can see this is where we just polished. So before, after, you can see how much deeper the paint gets. It's a huge, huge difference here, and pretty darn thrilled with that. So we're going to be doing this to the entire area that we compounded already. Areas like the mirrors, these are going to have to get repainted or wrapped as well. You can see basically the normal clear coat here, and it fades away, and this is basically the black color coat of the paint. So therefore it is dead or completely gone clear coat. And if we were to polish it, likely this is going to turn the primer color underneath, so don't really want to get into dealing with that. I'm sure a lot of you are going to ask what I'm using here. So I'm using yellow Rupes DA Fine here. Now they also have something even less aggressive, but what I'm finding here is the paint needs a little bit more cut in the polishing stage because we put in so much haze from the compounding. So yellow here, boom, yellow polish with yellow foam pad. This is a 21 millimeter Rupes, and I have the 3-inch down here with the 12 millimeter throw. That seems to be a perfect combo here for the Coda. So let's continue. Let's throw you guys back on the time lapse and let's get this bad boy polished, because these results so far, love it. Can't wait to see the rest of the car done here. It's going to look awesome. So let me show you what I was cleaning up in that last time lapse, because holy smokes, this stuff is dirty. So all this rubber around the windows here, I was using a tire and rubber cleaner from Geon, and man, oh man, there's so much residue coming off here. So this towel was brand spanking new, and this is just doing both sides. You can see how much crap is in that rubber here. So we're using Geon tire cleaner. You can definitely use this on rubber. Rubber, of course, is on your tires, and seals like this. So it looks a heck of a lot better. Now on the inside here, of course, we have a ton of rubber that runs basically the whole seal of the door here. So I'll come in here, clean all of this out. You can see some like white specks in here, all of this back in here, get all that dirt. I've already went through and scrubbed this. There's just so much stuff in here, but it'll really transform this. So keep an eye on this here. Now you can see in this crack here, it's a little hard and it's just holding so much dirt. Again, I've scrubbed and rinsed this area, but there's just an enormous amount in there. So what I'll do is take the same cleaner, wrap a credit card into the towel, and basically be able to really come in here and scrub this area out. So pretty thrilled with the results there. Probably a little bit more cleaning, probably one on this particular side. You know, areas like down here, want to make sure I get into all these, but the rubber feels so much better there. It's a little brittle on the other side. So let me take you back over here and show you. So I cleaned just the outside, and it's incredible. That was basically just this on the passenger side and the same on the driver's side, and that's what our towel looked like. But over here, you can see, look at all this dirt still sitting in here. It's just nasty. And this is just baked into the rubber here. If I come down here by the mirror, yeah, again, I've scrubbed and scrubbed this and it's just still not coming out. But that tire and rubber cleaner, especially with a microfiber absorbs all of that. Rubber is extremely porous, so any dirt just kind of sticks to it. Now, Kyle asked me about coating the rubber here. Now, I have yet to find a rubber coating per se that I really, really like. Now, a lot of people would say, why don't you use the trim coating like you use on plastic here on rubber? It looks splotchy, it looks terrible. Rubber is a totally, totally different material. Typically, what we use is something like called a dressing. So VRT or VRP from either Chemical Guys or Adams would work on this. Now, it would take a ton of applications to really get it to soak in there. you're probably gonna put it on here and in 2 seconds it's gonna soak into the rubber. So I'll play around with that a little bit. A lot of those I don't really love, for better or worse, I guess. A lot of times they just sit on top. They will soak in different areas. On something like this, it really needs it, but I would almost prefer maybe in this situation to constantly clean this with a tire and rubber cleaner. See how it wears, just go back over it and clean it. And I think it's actually gonna do quite a bit. That cleaner does leave a little bit back in there. You could feel on the other side, I know you guys can't feel that, but this is like very stiff. And on the other side, it was just very supple and plush. So really liking that. Now this, again, super nasty, messy process. Makes a mess of the windows here. All these streaks are from that cleaner. So that's why I left the windows till after I did this. And I think what I'm probably gonna do here is put some Brilliant Glaze on my 3-inch pad, hit the big areas here, just kind of let the polisher do the work, scrub the windows down. It's hilarious here. I was just looking at this. Underneath this wiper, you can just see where all the water deposits have been sitting for years on this, as the car's been sitting outside and been rained on. But yeah, I think this is looking quite good. Just quite a bit of time, not too much elbow grease, but just getting all of that crud out of all those seals. I really want to go in, especially on this interior seal here, and just clean all of this out as much as I possibly can, make it look a heck of a lot better under here. Clean areas like under here. Man, I think this will look awesome once we get it. But remember, that's what it looks like before, after even a few scrubbings with all-purpose cleaner. So nice to have something that's dedicated, like a full-on tire and rubber cleaner. Super pumped with how that's looking. Let's keep moving. Well, pretty thrilled with the glass here. So just did a little bit of a polish, nothing crazy on this. We're not breaking out the glass, like cutting compound or anything like that. That's a true mess. It doesn't really need it. These water spots aren't that bad, which I'm quite surprised. And all of that water that was basically sitting on there, basically in these lower seals and everything like that, are much, much better now. Now, of course, you can see I haven't done the inside glass here. That'll make a huge, huge difference. But what I did do here on the back is show you basically the difference in what we're getting off here. So over here, you can see all this nasty water staining in this particular area. And then this is the polished side. It looks way, way better. So basically what I'm using over here is a simple Brilliant Glaze from Adams Polishes. Now this is what I like to use on interior windows as well. With that video that I made a couple months ago now, there's a lot of questions. Can you do this on the outside glass? Of course, yes is the answer there. I'm also mixing it here with just a little bit of a medium cut compound. That's Meguiar's D300 here. And man, oh man, it really makes a difference. I'm just using a Rupes yellow foam polishing pad, and man, I can tell just a massive difference here on the glass. Nice and smooth. You can even see how clear the mirror is just from that. And then finally, I was just wiping it down with some glass cleaner just to get all of the kind of oiliness from that Brilliant Glaze. The nice thing with Brilliant Glaze, it is a solvent-based chemical here, so it's going to really get in there, eat away that dirt and grime, and man, I'm thrilled. So I'm going to set you guys back up on a tripod. We're going to get the windshield knocked out, get all of these nasty spots out here, all this crud down here, and yeah, we should be looking pretty good. And we'll jump inside, do the Brilliant Glaze inside. I will not be polishing the glass inside, just using it on basically an applicator pad, wiping it down, letting it sit for a little bit, eat away that dirt and grime that's on the inside of the glass, all that off-gassing that of course we talked about in the glass cleaning video. And I think the glass is gonna be looking pretty darn sharp. We have made some serious progress here on the Coda, and we are about ready to ceramic coat the paint. So the glass turned out amazing. You guys saw me go through, do polishing on the outside, do brilliant glaze on the inside, and man, oh man, it's finally starting to look awesome here. See, as you can see in here, looking nice and crystal clear. Now I did go through, cleaned out the interior, made some good improvements there. Realistically, I think we probably need to find a conditioner for the seats here. They are so dry and brittle. As I touch this, not supple at all. This area in here, it's kind of like hard plastic, but pretty happy with the results. I did throw the mats in here. Obviously, we're not gonna drive with these as they're all wrinkled up. They were just thrown in a bag in the back seat. Brand new floor mats in here, and this thing is looking sharp. Also went through, cleaned out all of the rubber here. Still need to just quickly touch up the door jambs here, but man, oh man, we are getting close here to being done with the Coda. The back glass looks phenomenal, crystal clear in here, no streaks, no haze anymore, and man, I'm pretty pumped with how we're looking here. So next steps now, I'm gonna dust off the car. It was a little bit more messy of a process than I would have liked when I was doing the glass. I'm gonna dust it off. I'm gonna do my Geon prep wipe down, basically getting the paint ready for the ceramic coating. Now a little bit on the coating. Originally in this video, I talked about we're gonna do half and half, 2 different coatings on here. I have apparently misplaced the other coating we were gonna test. We'll save that for another project. So I'm going to be using Geon Mo's Evo on here, a coating that I know and love, very similar to what I use on their Pro line, which is Geon Infinite Base Type 1. But I think Mo's Evo will be great for the Coda here. Not really into spending a ton more money on this free car that Kyle got. So I think Mo's Evo will be good for it. I realistically am not sure if Kyle's gonna let this car sit outside now that he has a little bit more storage space here and there. Realistically, I think he's probably gonna park this inside, not drive it all the time. He was just here, picked up his e-Golf, so you're no longer seeing it in the background here. He's just like, I've been missing that thing so much. I just want to go drive my e-Golf. The Coda is definitely not going to be a daily driver for him. So we're going to get the paint coated, just tidy up the wheels here, wipe them down, throw some tire shine on. And then lastly, we're going to be coating all of this black plastic trim here in the grille areas like this and down this side skirt. Really bring this whole project together. And I think we're gonna call that a detail. We are almost there, so bear with me, but let's throw on the time lapse and getting the Coda coated. I have gone and picked up Mr. Kyle Connor to finally come check out the Coda. So I finished coating everything, did all of the black plastic trim, and she is done. So Kyle, what do you think of this?
Well, you can't even imagine that this is the same car we started with, because I was just looking at some photos of when I first saw it, and it was melted into the pavement. The paint was, I thought, completely gone. I thought it needed an entire new repaint. And there's just no way. I mean, the whole car looked worse than this.
Yeah.
And so I just thought there was no way we would be able to bring this thing back. Now, it's not all perfect. You can see the mirrors, of course. You know, the car sat outside. But considering just doing a restoration with nothing added to it, no new paint, this is just taking the existing shell and polishing and compounding and a lot of hard work. Well, holy smokes, it's really come back.
Yes, it really has. And in all honesty, I went way crazier than I think you and I both anticipated I would.
Absolutely.
But this was one of those projects that once I started getting into it, I was like, wow, the paint's like pretty forgiving here. And it's like allowing me to actually kind of hammer on it and beat on it a little bit, really more than I expected it to. Had quite a bit of paint on it, and how it came back was truly insane. There was a lot of things, of course, that aren't perfect on it. You know, we have paint missing here on the headlight in this particular area. This side was really rough. Yeah, here, I mean, I think this came out better than I thought it would.
Same.
But you can definitely see here, like around the edges, that's where the clear coat has failed. We've got a few areas over here where like a bird poop completely ate through the clear coat there. And again, I wet sanded this particular area around here, did tons of work back here. Now these specs, Kyle, I don't know if I've even explained what these are to you.
No, I don't know what they are.
So that is essentially tree sap that's sat on there for I don't know how long, and has physically just etched that so much. And this was all wet sanded here. And as you can tell, yeah, it's just created little, basically rings of, you know, the tree sap sitting there. But yeah, I'm so pumped with this thing.
I mean, the goal with this car was never to make it back to perfect. It's just to preserve what we had. So we've gone through and we've preserved what was left, and it came out a lot better than we expected.
Yeah.
You know, the glass came out great. Did a lot of glass polishing. I mean, this looks like a brand new car's windshield, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm really impressed. The headlights came out great. And I know you used something different on the left side than the right side.
Yep.
Is that what happened there?
And this will be a little bit of a test. So I got one of basically off the shelf DIY kits that I think a lot of people can just, you know, go grab. I think it was 20 or 30 bucks. It's made by Cerakote. So what I did on this one was sanded it and then polished it, or compounded and polished it. Whereas this one, in their directions, they actually said to just sand it and then apply the ceramic coating over it.
This looks better.
Way better. And that was my theory in the video when I did that, saying, you know, you have basically, I think it was 2,000 or 2,500 on the sanding marks. I don't really think a coating is going to fill that in. It did more than I expected, but not, you know, to perfection.
Yeah, I mean, so all I can say is this is as good as it was ever going to get with what we were given. And so now it's the big, you know, many year task of, you know, basically preserving this car. And obviously it's never going to fix itself. It's only going to deteriorate farther. These plastics are going to eventually fail completely. I mean, this is a car, again, we're never going to sell. It'll stay around. It's a great story. I think we're going to put it in the showroom at our office at CSU. I'll see if they're interested in it. I think it's a great piece of electric history. It's also LFP battery, so a lot safer than NMC. Yeah, I mean, overall, I don't know what's next. So basically what I'm going to do with it over the next few months, now that it's back to new, is I'm going to drive it. We got to break it in. It's not out of break it. It's only got 70 miles on it right now.
Right.
So, because I drove it here from my house when we got the license plates last week. But what we're going to do is drive it up to about 400 or 500 miles, something like that. I'm going to really use this car and drive it hard and enjoy it. We're going to then do a range test and a degradation test. And then after that, I think we'll just put it in the showroom and pull it out on special occasions. If there's like an electric car show or something, we'll bring it out for that. But for the most part, it's not a car that is enjoyable to drive. It kind of drives like crap. It's functional, but it's not like and it's not a needed piece of daily transportation, because I have my e-Golf, I have my Leaf for like the around town stuff. And I don't want this to get damaged. I want it to stay as is. Yeah. So again, it's just something we'll pull out at least a couple times a year to make sure it's driven. But it seems to be fine if you let it sit. So that's good too.
Yeah, actually, I cannot believe. So this is still the original 12-volt battery, as well as, of course, the high-voltage battery. The 12-volt battery is still holding juice in it.
That's crazy. And I don't know if that's because it's constantly waking up the high-voltage DC to DC. And also, every time that the 12-volt does die, when you turn it back on, the big battery's at 30%. So I think it must be software in here that says when the high-voltage battery reaches 30%, shut off the DC to DC, which is why I think after 12 years of this sitting, it was at 30% state of charge. Okay. Because when we left it here for a couple months and the 12-volt re-died, the high-voltage battery was at 30%.
Yeah, okay. And you were also saying, so we actually, this car's been around a little bit. We had to go get this VIN verified this week. We put it on the trailer, and then you actually drove it, which was the first time you've ever driven it. You did that on the reviews channel. So if you want to check that out, Kyle's real first impressions of driving the Coda, definitely we'll leave that in the link in the description below. But you were telling me on the way over here, you asked if I had plugged it in. So I think it was at 70% state of charge, you said? And
yeah, when I left. So when I got here, it was at 55 or 60.
And it came on with the low battery light.
Yeah, the zap indicator, the little lightning bolt came on the screen, which usually only comes on when you're at low state of charge, but that's like below 30%.
Yeah.
And I was at 70%, but it was after a really long, wide open, hard throttle. It wasn't wide open the whole time, up to highway speeds. I just think the BMS has no idea what's going on with the battery. So I'm trying to, because it's LFP, it also needs to be top charged to calibrate and everything, and it needs to see the bottom as well. So over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be showing this thing, you know, high charge, low charge. My friend Robert's, one of his Codas, he's Aging Wheels on YouTube. He said one of his just shuts off at 70% because it has a bad module, and the same light comes on. So again, we're not even sure because we haven't really driven this, how healthy the battery is.
Right.
We don't know. The good news is he has replacement modules if anything had failed on this one. So there's still a lot to dig into, a lot of unknown about this car. But the wheel bearings are a common failure point. They're still good, at least for today, at least for right now. Today. And yeah, the door handles work. The car looks like it probably better than it did on day one, to be honest, because I can't imagine these left the showroom looking amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, a few things here or there, but definitely pretty happy with it. And really, I mean, we were going at, you know, the preservation aspect at this car, and I think we accomplished that. Now, a few things, maybe it sounds like we actually may be able to find a few parts here and there.
Yeah.
I know you were talking about that in the video you did driving this for the first time. I'd like to see us, you know, if we can get something like a cowl, because this area over here, I didn't really show it during the actual detail, but this, just even wiping this down here, it is just literally crumbling. The plastic is so completely rotted and dry aged.
Wipers are all rusted here.
Yes. Yep. So I'm surprised it even has rubber left on the actual wiper portion of that, because these are the originals. So we'll definitely be getting some new wipers. And then I guess last thing we should talk about is plans with the roof. So I have two different ideas. I have a company that I've been working with, which is called B&B Blending. They make a bunch of different detailing products for many, many different companies that you know and love out there in the detailing industry. And I was talking to Nate over there, and he said they have a wipeable, basically clear coat that'll go on here that could preserve this a little bit more.
Okay.
So I think that may be a neat option to explore that. Probably not leave it, because I still think you're going to see these basically rings around here where the paint has failed in areas.
But it's worth an experiment. We already have this paint, which is, it's not getting any better.
No, yeah, exactly. So I think we'll definitely do a dedicated video on that, see if it's something interesting out there, because man, we've been seeing a lot of cars around lately with failed clear coats, and not even that old, like, you know, 10, 12 years, which is basically what the Coda is here. And if that doesn't look good at all, I think we're going to wrap it. So I'm going to get some samples so we can try to match the actually crazy nice metallic in the Coda here. And yeah, other than that, I think we're pretty good. We're probably going to wrap the mirrors as well. So just a few little things, but I wanted to get the car back to Kyle. He needs to make some content with this. This has just been on the back burner for
too long.
Way too long. Way too long.
So now it's time to drive it, test it, enjoy it. And then we'll figure out what we do with it after our, really the main video I want to do with it is just see how healthy the battery is. What happened to essentially a fresh battery that sat for 12 years. So the only way we can test that is to charge it all the way up and drive it till it stops moving and see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, Kyle, it's time for you to get this damn thing out of here.
Yeah, you won't have to see it for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super pumped with how this came out. Hopefully you're happy with it as well.
Yeah,
and
very.
Definitely, did you guys ever think it was going to come out like this? I surely didn't. So
no way.
Thrilled with that. Thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec detailing video. Thanks for Kyle trusting me with his beloved free car here.
Yeah, it didn't cost me anything, so there's not much to lose here. But it's more the community spirit in this one. Oh, by the way, before we end, you coated this with?
Yes, so the paint was coated with Geon Mose. So I actually was going to do
You were going to do a two
I was
thing.
going to do half and half. I lost the other coating.
Oh,
it is somewhere.
okay.
I have no idea where it went. I
Okay.
just quickly touched on that, but
Okay.
yeah, it's somewhere.
But it's got a Geon Mose coating.
Yes.
Is this the professional one?
So this is the off-the-shelf coating. The reason I did that is this car is not going to see outside all that much. And Geon Mose, it's about a 3-year coating on there.
Fine.
Honestly, if it's inside, it's going to last the lifetime of the car. In all reality, it's not going to see a ton of crud here and there. We'll do maintenance washes on it and stuff like that and just kind of make sure everything's good, but should be good to go. So
Cool beans.
thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.